Okay, good evening. We're a few minutes away from having Michigan State head coach Tom Izzo and Cassius Winston and Aaron Henry up here on the dais. Couple of reminders before we start the post-game press conferences. No flash photography in this area and no video recording of any kind. Please silence those cell phones, and the satellite coordinates will be the same as yesterday. Galaxy 17, the number 4, the letter K as in kangaroo, slot C as in Charlie, and the downlink is 11784-5. We're going to introduce our coach and student athletes, and when a wireless microphone is brought to you, please identify yourself and your affiliation. Take an opening statement from Coach Izzo, and then open up a Q&A for the student athletes. Okay, we're going to take an opening statement from head coach Tom Izzo. After the opening statement, we'll take questions for the student athletes specifically first. Coach.
And I'm really proud of these guys. I thought, we were worried about two things, and we harped on it. We put signs in the locker room. We put signs in the hotel rooms. We put signs in the hotel eating area, cut out, rebound, cut out, rebound, cut out, rebound. And our second big key was turnovers. We out-rebounded them by 7. Even though we weren't quite as good in the second half, we had 7 turnovers. For us, that's like 0. And I thought that was the difference in the game. Aaron Henry, our 2 freshmen, really came through. Aaron and Gabe Brown, he might have had a career, and I mean a career the whole season. He had maybe as many points tonight. So he did a hell of a job. And of course, Cassius is Cassius. He found ways to get some things done, get 17 points, get 8 assists, and yet because I wrote him, I think he tired a little bit, missed some shots at the second, late in the half that normally he hits, but really proud of this team taking a scouting report and adhering to it and figuring out what a team's strengths are, and I thought we attacked them very well. And it's a very good LSU team, scary the way they can shoot the ball. You got to love Tremont Waters. He made some big plays, and yet I thought, first half, I thought we were unbelievable on the boards, and that was the difference in the game.
Okay, we're going to take questions for the student athletes first. Please raise your hand, and a wireless microphone will be brought to you. We'll start right down here, and then we'll move into the middle. Please identify yourself and your affiliation, and please direct one of your questions to someone in particular.
All right, thank you. Jim Comparoni, SpartanMag.com. Cassius Winston, your thoughts on Aaron Henry and Gabe Brown, 2 freshmen really coming through, especially with McQuaid being out in foul trouble the way Gabe Brown came through and gave you that lift.
They were huge tonight. In a lot of ways, they won the game. They were confident. They trusted in their abilities. They took their shots that they were supposed to, and they just stepped up in a big way.
Okay, right there in the middle.
For Tremont, Tim Liu from Tansen. How do you think your matchup against Tremont? Waters.
Okay. It went pretty well. He had a really good game. He shot the ball really well, so he's tough to guard when he's shooting the ball like that because he's so quick and get to the basket. So he shot the ball really well. I think we did a good job as a team. He did his thing for them. He did his job for this team. But we did a good job as a unit, not letting them get rebounds, not letting them get out in transition and things like that.
For Aaron, this is Don Marcus from the Baltimore Sun. How important was it for you to get off to that kind of start in this kind of atmosphere? And also, there was a play you made where you almost lost the ball and you sort of threw it up right before the clock went off. And is that sort of typified night when everything's working?
Yeah, it was one of those nights where I just felt like, the basket was huge, and I'm glad that it was this way tonight. And just my teammates looking out for me and just giving me the ball in certain positions. And Coach put me in great spots to score. I mean, it was all key tonight. It just wasn't on me. So thanks to Coach and my players for doing that for me.
We're going to go way back.
Cassius, let me ask you this, and that's just, I'm Craig Heiss, AP Radio, but the fact that they made like 3 big runs at you guys and you were able to hold them off, what does that say about your team as you move forward in this tournament?
I think that just says how focused we were. We knew they were going to make a run. That's a really talented team. They got a lot of talented players, and they got the capability to make a run. So we knew they were going to make multiple runs, just like we did. That's the nature of the tournament. We just did our best to keep our composure and make a run of ourselves. Like I said, they were a good team, and we were a good team also.
Aiden Curran, 24/7 Sports. Cassius, they got down to 4 points to start the second half, but you guys seemingly in an instant got back up to 15. What was the key to your guys' quick response there as a team?
I think we let them get to the glass a little bit too much. They once they dominate the rebounds, they're a hard team to stop. So once we cleaned up on the glass a little bit better, got out in transition, made some easy things happen.
Ron Bailey, Rivals.com. How important was your drive and kick game in the first half? You guys were able to get the ball into the paint, kick it out to the wings for open jumpers.
That was part of our game plan. Just from the coaches watching the scouts and watching their games. They rallied to the ball a lot. So getting in the paint, creating all that chaos and then 2-foot stops and kicking it out and having our guys ready to shoot. That was part of our game plan going into the game.
Aaron, Matt Sachs from La Jolla. So Coach talked yesterday about your mental toughness as a team. You guys were unfazed from the beginning, started out with the 8-0 run. How are you guys so comfortable in such a big stage like this, especially you personally?
I think throughout the season we've been through some games that have been kind of tough, and we had some slow starts, and later in the season we put an emphasis on starting out well. So just credit to Coach for just realizing that we were starting out slow and just trying to make that adjustment for us. But in this game today, we never been in this position before, most of us haven't. And, we just wanted to get on a good start, not get behind early because it's a huge game and it's a game and run. So just getting on a good foot was the key.
Mark Herman from Newsday, New York. Aaron, you've been a couple of times very complimentary and thankful to your coach. I guess, would his approach be called tough love sometimes? And what's your relationship like with Coach Izzo?
Absolutely. I mean, just knowing that not knowing who Coach was and when he gets on you when you first get on campus, it's a little confusing. I mean, when he talks to you sometimes the way he does, and it's all love, and now going to having a game like this and the previous games I've had before where I'm progressing, it's just showing me why he stayed on me. And I'm going to be forever grateful for what he's done for me and the love he's shown for me and the coaching he's done for me.
I'll go over here on our left-hand side, guys.
David Hale with ESPN. Aaron, did you have a sense from the game plan coming in that this could potentially be a big scoring game for you in advance, or did it just kind of happen organically once you got out on the court?
It just kind of happened, I really wasn't planning on it. Just staying in myself and trusting my game and just knowing the type of player I am and playing within myself is key. And just the game plan where we had to jump stop with 2 feet and kick out was there, and just following the scouting report and following the game plan is what I did.
After the attention that was on you guys last weekend that obviously you didn't invite, was it important to you to kind of have an on-court performance to kind of get away from that? What was the attention like for you, and does having a performance like this help?
I mean, I don't think the attention bothered me at all. It's just people going to have their opinion on a lot of things, and I know right from wrong. I know when somebody's trying to help me, when somebody's trying to coach me, and I came here to get coached, and I came here to become the best player I could be. So, I mean, all that attention was fine, and just I stayed within myself and trust the coach and trust why I came here.
We'll go down here in row 2.
Will Shanahan from the Georgetown Voice. Cassius, Coach Izzo said cutout rebound was the mantra all week. What can you say about the team's defensive efforts and Nick and Xavier's defensive efforts in keeping the LSU bigs off the glass and keeping them at bay offensively?
That was our focus coming into the game. Just cutouts, rebounds. We knew that was going to be our way to win the game, and those bigs did a great job. They were battling the whole night. They put bodies on people the whole night, And our guards help a little bit too, just cleaning up rebounds and stuff like that. So our runs came when we cleaned up the glass and didn't allow them to get those second chance opportunities.
We'll go right, stay in the middle.
Yeah, Don Marcus from the Baltimore Sun. Cassius, you've gotten your tough love yourself from Coach over the years. What did you talk to Aaron about after that situation, and the way he responded the last 2 games, and what does that say about him?
Oh, just like I said, you gotta understand Coach, and you gotta know how much he loves and cares for you. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't get on you like that if he didn't care about you. And you got to come to understand that if he didn't care about you, he'll just let you mess up. He'll let you be bad, and he'll just leave you alone. And that's not the situation you want to be in. You know what I'm saying? You want to be coached. You want to be pushed. And he got years and years of work of that working out for the best for a lot of players. So. He been pushing Henny all year. He been on him all year, and Henny's starting to play his best basketball towards the end of the year. And I don't want to say that's a coincidence.
All right, we're going to go down here on the left-hand side of Zach.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. For either player, it's been 4 years since Michigan State got this far. I know for some programs that's not a long time. For your program, kind of is. What does it mean to get back to this point?
Cassius, you want to start?
It's huge just to – like I said, we've been just taking advantage of opportunities all year. That's what we've been doing as a team. We haven't none of these guys really made it to this point before. So we're enjoying every moment of it. We're embracing it, and it's an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at it as like pressure or something. Not the end of the world. It's just an opportunity that we got to take advantage of, and we've been doing that all year.
All right, guys, you guys are dismissed. Thank you. And we'll take questions now for Coach Izzo. Courtney, we'll start right over there on the right-hand side, Coach.
Jeff Zilgett, USA Today. Tom, what kind of sense did you have that this would be a Gabe Brown kind of game and maybe not a Matt McQuaid kind of game because you went to him early?
Zero. Guys, I got to admit, at the same time, I didn't think Matt and Kenny would shoot, 2 for 11 the first half, or I don't even know if they were that. I think they were 0 for 11. It was Gabe that hit a couple. Gabe's been working. He knows he can shoot it. And we did have a game plan of the way they funneled in to come to those 2-foot stops. And inside-out threes are the best threes. And I got to admit, we hit some. Now, Kenny and Boydo missed some, too. So, but we did have a surprise. Aaron was, I thought, phenomenal. And Gabe was... I'm not kidding you. I think 15 points. I'm not sure he's scored that this year. And everybody had to be ready because we had to step up with Arnie out. And then Nick Ward, believe it or not, might have made the block of the game. They were in a comeback then. And, I just thought our freshmen made some big plays. In that stretch, I almost called a timeout. I don't like to call timeouts because I was afraid against a team like this, we'd need them. And those guys made some big plays. I told them at halftime, they're too explosive a team. They're going to have some runs. We got to weather the storm and find a way. And, boy, we had a spurt there, and I think he was right. We started rebounding, got a running game going. We can run. It's just a shame that, we're short some bodies to run like that the whole game. And I still think we're a great running team, and, we're going to have to keep doing that.
I'm going in the far back.
Ron Bailey, Rivals.com. How do you maintain and sustain a culture in which rebounding seemingly is important to scoring? That's kind of rare in basketball today.
It is, and it started because I might have had the worst team in captivity as far as offensively. And my old boss, Jed Heathcote, used to call me and say, "Hey, your best offense, just throw it at the basket and send 4 guys to get it." And then all of a sudden, the Charlie Bells and Jason Richardson, who could, jump out of the arena. Zach Randolph, I just had some guys during that stretch that attack the boards. Now, I'll tell you what, on film, this team goes to the boards with a vengeance. I've never seen it's violent on film. They are just going. I was so impressed. You saw some of it the second half. I did think we did a great job the first half of cutting out. I thought we got tired. Then when Nick got hurt, Xavier and Kenny really struggled down the stretch because I think it was fatigue. But we've always been a good rebounding team. Maybe it is in the water. But we're not as good as we used to be. But tonight we rose up and probably made all those former guys proud, and I'm excited about that.
We'll stay, Coach. We'll stay in that same area. Right there. No. Okay. All right. We'll come back over here to Zach.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. Just Tom, you just talk about Aaron's performance. I mean, after everything from over the last weekend, and for him to have the best game of his career, in obviously a spot like that, what does it say about him?
First of all, guys, I'm not going to answer any more questions about a 5-second situation that, as you can tell by them, it's almost borderline ridiculous. But, what I do love, and maybe everybody should see, because it's not anything about me, it's about the players. And it's those players, all great players, are all players that want to be great, need to be pushed. And when a player responds, that is probably the greatest part of my job. And this kid has taken off. I mean, he was getting better, but now he's working on his shot more, coming in more, doing this more, doing that more. And, I'm really proud of him. I mean, I really am. I've always been proud of him. He'd be the first to tell you that he needs to be pushed. I mean, he was not recruited by the world, okay? And there was some reasons why. And so, I truly do appreciate Aaron Henry. I appreciate the fact that instead of moping and complaining like everybody else in the world, he went to work. And that's why he's going to be a great player before he's done. I mean, a great player.
You're going in the far back.
Coach, Denton Day, SB Nation Radio. You guys are obviously going to play the winner of this next game. How much have you gotten to watch Duke and Virginia Tech, and is there one team that you feel you match up better against for next round?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll just match up with Zion by himself. Maybe Mike will play him 1-on-5. But, I think both guys have done a great job. I mean, it's hard to play with the freshmen like Mike has. And you look at that Virginia Tech team, and, when he was at Marquette, I got to know Buzz pretty well. And you talk about a tough cookie. Buzz is as tough, demanding, and, he gets after it too. And his teams play that way. His teams play hard defensively. What I've been impressed with this year, a little bit like us, is his offense is a lot better. He had a couple years where they weren't as good offensively. And I just think, I don't know. I didn't think we'd win this game like we did. I didn't think Duke would struggle against Central Florida, and give Johnny credit for the way he did it. This tournament is what it is, but it's pretty impressive, the teams that are still left. And I've watched both teams. That's what I do Sunday and Monday. I watch all three teams that we could play to make sure that we can add a few things, whether it be presses or zones or this or that. But then I haven't watched them to know personnel, except, during the year I'm a basketball junkie. So if there's a game on, I'm watching it. If Duke's on, I'm watching it. Virginia Tech's on, I'm watching it. So I've seen them a lot, but watching them like I'll do tonight, is whoever team wins is two different things.
We're right down here on our extreme right-hand side.
Well, Tom, I think I've got you with 10 Elite Eights now. How does this one feel? And the way the script was a little bit different with some freshmen coming on strong. And also McQuaid, did he have to do a few things on the bench with him sitting? Was he leading over there, and he hit 2 big shots late in the game to turn LSU away, a run away?
And this is the way my team's been all year. Somebody just steps up. When McQuaid went down, it was Kyle Arns that stepped up. And then Henney started stepping up a little bit. And then when Josh went down, it was Kyle a little bit then, and Aaron Henry a little bit more, and then McQuaid started playing better. And then when Kyle went down, it's Gabe's turn. I mean, it's been a rotation of mash unit people, but somebody has always stepped up, and I think Cassius deserves a lot of credit for that, because he has to get the ball to different people. Our break's a little different. One guy runs a little better than the other guy. I think Cassius, he's my Tom Brady in a way, because they keeps changing receivers and running backs and this and that, and he still just keeps winning. And Cassius has done this all year. He's the straw that stirs the drink. He has done an incredible job of doing things. And I will say this, you know, it wasn't a complete matchup. Cassius, we didn't want him on Waters just because to wear him down. You know, they gave Waters some rest. We didn't give Cash much. And I thought McQuaid did a pretty good job. And when he got in foul trouble, we put Cash on him. And he actually did a good job on him. You know, he hit 3 long threes. But I'm not sure I would have thought he was going to shoot those. So Cassius Winston is, you know, becoming better defensively. He's very good offensively. He still had 8 assists. He had a few turnovers, but some of those were fatigue turnovers as much as anything else. And that team's good, man. I mean, I unfortunately, I'm not talked enough about them. They have athletes at every position. They play hard. They're junkyard dogs. I mean, I love that team to watch them. I didn't love them to have to play against them. I just thought we got off to a good start, and maybe some of their young guys weren't ready for that. But I think Tony's done a good job under tough situation there, too.
All right. Last question.
Jim Comparoni, SpartanMag.com. Tom, what can you tell us about Nick Ward, and how was he reacting on the sideline?
Yeah, thank God they already took x-rays. Kudos to the medical staffs here and our own. And there's no problem. I think it's not the same exact area. It's the same hand. It's unfortunately left hand, but I think they're looking more at like a bone bruise than anything else. What does that mean in a day prep? I don't know. But I will say this, that block Nick had when they were making that run, and then he Bill Russelled it, he blocked it, and he got the ball. That was big for us. And I thought Nick would need to have a big game, and some of the matchups were a little tough, but we're going to need Nick, whoever we play, and hopefully he'll be able to come back. I don't know any more than that right now. I'm sure it's day to day, but there's no break. There's no serious injury. It's just how bad it's bruised, and on his shooting hand could create a few problems, I guess.
All right, Coach. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, we're going to take an opening statement from interim head coach Tony Benford, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A with the student athletes first.
Yeah, first of all, I want to give Coach Izzo and his team, a lot of credit. They came out the first half, and they established they really did a good job establishing the paint, and especially on the glass. We knew it was going to be a game of who can control the glass, and they did a great job in the first half and throughout the game getting on the glass. Proud of my guys. We've had a great run this year through all the adversity we've been through. They accomplished a lot, and I'm really proud of these guys.
I will take questions for the student athletes first. Please raise your hand, and a microphone will be brought to you. Start right in the middle with Pete.
Yeah, Tremont and Naz, I'm just wondering if you can reflect a little bit on the future with the uncertainty surrounding the program and how Coach Wade's status would affect any big picture decisions you guys have to make.
We're going to take it one day at a time. Obviously, we don't know what's going on, and we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing, stay in the gym, and pretty much talk to our families and see what the next step is.
Pretty much the same thing. I mean, just working on the game, and just moving forward day by day, and having the same positive attitude as before.
All right, stay right in row 2.
Tremont, Matt Sachs from the Hoya. Tonight was a big game for you, despite the loss. But there's a big growth for you personally in this second season for you. Can you talk about any reflections you have, positive takeaways of how you've grown as a player?
Yeah. Last year I was able to lead by example, more than leading by or through word of mouth and actually talking to the guys and talking in film and stuff like that. This year I had a much bigger role, and I had great teammates behind me that allowed me to grow as a person outside of basketball also, and just to have such great guys around me and the coaching staff allowing me to have a voice on the team and to become even more of a leader was the biggest thing, I feel like.
I'm going to go down here on the left-hand side.
Nas, y'all knew they were a good rebounding team, obviously, over 40 a game, but how frustrating was it not to let them have all those offensive rebounds in the first half, early in the game?
It was very frustrating. I mean, we didn't realize it until the second half they were long rebounds. So, we were going into the charge circle trying to rebound, long rebounds, and they were going over our heads and, just missed checkouts and things like that. I mean, they wanted it more, and they got them.
Guys, we're going to go in the far back with AP.
Tremont, AP Radio, Craig Heist. You guys made several runs at them early in the second half. You got it down to 4. Were you guys thinking, okay, this is our time, this is where we can get it?
Most definitely. Obviously at halftime we were down 12 to be exact, and we kind of just came together in the locker room, the coaching staff and the players, and we said we wanted to get it to a certain number. I think the number was 7 or 8. By the first media, we were able to cut it down to 4 actually, and you got to give kudos to them. They're a great three-point shooting team, and the way they moved the ball and everything, and they were able to make big-time shots to push the lead back to 15.
All right, down here on the right-hand side.
Stephen Watt, Associated Press. Tremont, how tough were those three-point shots by Michigan State, and was there any kind of talk of kind of adjusting to those shots when they were hitting so many wide-open attempts?
Yeah, I remember we were in one media timeout, and I think it was the 12 media, and we kind of it was a little too late at this point. It was the 8 media actually, and the clock was around 7:26 or something like that, and I remember like Coach GH Greg Hire saying that we needed to switch the ball screens because they would just come off the screen, pitching it back and make an extra pass for a wide open 3, so we had to adjust, but it was just a little too late, and obviously those threes hurt when they were able to cut it down to 4 points, and it was kind of a shot in the foot because we knew that they were capable of making those threes, but to have the lead go back to 15 was kind of upsetting.
All right, we're going to go down here on our left-hand side, guys.
Sheldon Nichols, Baton Rouge Advocate. Nas, what was it like in halftime when Tremont hit that shot right before? Y'all was still down 12, but, I mean, was the locker room alive at that point?
Yeah, I mean, we felt like we can get back into the game. It was a big boost in our confidence, something he's been doing all year. So, I mean, the whole team was confident, the coaching staff. I mean, we thought we can come back. We cut it to 4, but it just wasn't enough.
Any other questions for the LSU student-athletes? All right, you guys are dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to leave Coach Benford here for a few more minutes.
All right, see you guys in a little bit. All right.
Tony, I'm just wondering, same thing I asked the players, if you could address the big picture, please, and what you think the steps are from here in terms of your own future as interim coach and what could happen in the big picture.
Well, Pete, I really don't know. We just played a game, and it's a really good basketball team, and, I'm not even really thinking about it right now, to be honest with you.
Follow up on that, just how has this uncertainty, kind of the fact that you guys have kind of played through this adversity, how impressed have you been by this group, and kind of is the reality going to set in tomorrow that there could be changes to this program?
Well, the thing is these guys, again, like you said, I mean, they're going through a lot of adversity. We talked about it, and it's a tough way to go out. We played it, but, you give Michigan State credit, great coach, great team, and they had some kids that stepped up that hadn't been playing as well or shot the ball as well as they did tonight that did a great job. Henry and Brown, you got to give those guys credit. We give those guys credit, and we'll just, we'll take it day by day and just see what happens.
Tony, what happened early in? I think they had 6 threes in the first 9.5 minutes of the game, and also Gabe Brown. Did y'all not think he could hit some? He had only hit 12 all year.
Yeah. You got to play the percentages, and what we try to do, obviously, on Henry, we played off of him a little bit so we could help inside on Tillman, and he hit a couple early. Hit that one early and got going. Then Brown came in and hit a couple of threes early too. And both of those guys, give them credit, they're good players. I mean, they made plays and hit big shots when they needed to. We made a couple of adjustments with the ball screen coverage, like Trey said a minute ago. We started switching the ball screens, and so we wouldn't get in the rotation, because the main thing, we had to keep Cassius out of the paint, and, we committed 2 guys to him, and then that left us vulnerable on the weak side.
Scott Rappelay from the Baton Rouge Advocate. Looked like the strategy was to try to speed them up and then try to maybe deny Winston the ball, get him to pass it and deny him back. Did their hot shooting kind of work against that strategy? And secondly, the decision to start Javante in place of Marlon Taylor.
Okay, first of all, we thought that at times our first shot defense was pretty good. We went to our 1-3-1, try to get them out of rhythm, and we got stops, but we didn't rebound the ball. I mean, they were going in there, they were all over the glass. I mean, that's what we've been doing to teams. They flipped it on us tonight, and so I think they had 10 offensive rebounds, and we had 10 total rebounds at half. That hadn't happened to us all year, but I give those guys credit. But that was just a decision that I feel I had to make with starting Javante, Marlon over Marlon. It's just a couple of things that happened that I just had to make that change.
Jeff Duncan from the Times-Picayune. Tony, Tom Izzo just said he was surprised at how this game played out. How surprised are you, considering how close you all played everybody all year?
Yeah, we were surprised. I mean, I think the thing is that I thought we had a great game plan. We wanted to protect the paint and try to get the ball in the paint. But they had some guys that stepped up. We wanted to contain Cassius, but you got to give those guys credit. I mean, Brown and Henry made shots. I mean, at the end of the day, and then they flipped it on us on the glass. We knew we had to protect the backboard. We had to rebound, protect our end, and whoever won the rebound about, I felt like was going to win the game, and it played out that way. And they had some guys that made 13 threes, guys. They were 11 to 34 coming in the first 2 games of the tournament. Tonight in one game they're 13 to 32 from the 3-point line. So you got to give those guys credit to make plays.
I mean, with Gabe Brown, he's only played 250 minutes this year. I think he made 12 threes all season. Like, where, if at all, is that on the scouting report?
No. I mean, we knew he's a good player. So sometimes, you play the percentages, and he made them tonight, So we had to we made an adjustment, but, he's still, even when we made the adjustment, he hit a couple of tough ones.
Any other questions for Coach Benford? All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.